Hey everybody, it's Steve. I wanted to go over one of our new premium tools that's available only to our paid education members and our Guerrilla Real Estate team members. And if you are an agent of Guerrilla Real Estate, you get this for free. If you're in our asset mastermind, there is a slight upcharge to get access to this tool. But once you see it, I'm sure you'll agree it's worth the slight upcharge. The first thing you do is you select the Baby Analyzer property type selector. Now, I will admit, outside of residential properties, our automated repair estimates are maybe a little bit inaccurate because we don't have a lot of personal data experience in Northeast VA on self-storage, for example. But it does the math correctly. It just the rehab estimate might be a little bit off. It uses national averages. You decide to flip or rental. Now, once you get out of into self-storage or multifamily, it doesn't offer you flip or rental. It's only on the 1 to 4 units. Let you choose which way you're analyzing it. And we'll use my house for an example. You fill in, and it does help a lot. You don't have to fill anything in, but it helps a lot if you fill in bedrooms and bathrooms and everything. And then you're going to want to drop it down, and you're going to want to answer some condition questions. How much is it going to cost you to hold it? Cosmetic condition. Boom. And again, it triggers off square footage. This is why the better answers are better. So we do that. And you'll see repair is 50% on windows. So it's 20 windows, $350 a piece. 50%, $175. So you answer the questions. You can upload some files. You can upload some pictures it might try to analyze for you. You can upload some other things. And what it's doing now, it's working on pulling comps and a bunch of other great things. Flood zones, crime data, rental comps, sales comps, a lot of things. And you'll see that when the results pop up. Of course, it's taking a little bit longer. It's also using the entered information to learn more about the property in the neighborhood, and it's going to come back with some ideas. So it says it thinks my house is worth $300,000. A little aggressive, I would say, but okay, fine. And a wholesale offer would be 180 based on the answers I gave. It feels the risk is a little bit undersupplied on the market, so that's a strong indicator. It feels the risk is because of medium confidence based on the information entered. And here's the information you entered. Now here's where it gets a little bit interesting, because now it's going to tell us how it got from 297 to 180. Boom, investor rule, assignment fee, estimated repairs. And if you want to expand that, you can drop that open. Now, it gives you two things. It gives you the human entered rehab estimates and the national average estimates. Now, one thing the next version will have is it will show below this every line item that you answered. Although it's kind of already given you that a little further up, but it's going to give you all of the repair estimates underneath it. Net operating income obviously don't apply in a flip. Estimated market value, here's the range of what it found. And here's exactly what it found. It also gives you rent estimates. And it tells you what data sources it used to reach these answers. Now, we've been having some trouble with these three lately. These normally do work. That's something we have to fix, but that's okay. It gives you photo finding and rehab analysis. If you'd given it photos, it would give you those. If you gave it documents, it would give you document findings. So whatever you uploaded would get parsed here. It saves everything into a drive. It saves everything into a spreadsheet. It sends you everything. And so this gives you a pretty quick answer. Now I'm going to do another one here. I'm going to go to a self-storage model. Address irrelevant in this case. answer a lot of questions, but you can always just answer. Now this is way under operating expenses because I have an operating expenses floor. The rehab estimate, as I said, isn't that clear for this property type. So a lot of times we'll skip it. We will upload operating memorandums and T12s. Obviously, we would just do that, but I'm going to skip that for this demo. And then we'll hit analyze deal. And so it's using, and again, in the commercial world, it does less for commercial data than it does for residential data. It still does flood zone and some other things. But you're going to have to give it things like Tract IQ or Store Track or whatever. So it will show you more results from that answer. But I mean, this is a really cool way to get you some preliminary research done, to get you a ballpark answer, and to really help your clients understand in a quick methodology what they've got for an asset. Now you'll see that 288,889 was the NOI it used. You'll see that up here, we only gave it $12 in expenses, but the system has a floor. It says, I don't believe you're $12. 35% is the standard in the self-storage industry. And it gives you some really quick numbers of what you might pull together. And then it gives you a lot of different options. These are the options that I actually do my underwriting based on. Bank, 8% equity, or the equity making 8% interest only, the equity making 8% amortized, in a seller finance model where the seller holds most of the equity and the buyer only puts in $100,000. And it gives you fairly comprehensive breakdowns of how you got there and what your pocket money is going to be in each scenario. Now, one thing I'm trying to get it to do is to not let you lose money on deals. That's been a bit of a challenge to explain to Claude at what point it should turn the knob. But it does that. Here's your recommendation. And a lot of times if we'd uploaded something like a Tract IQ report, it would have educated the recommendation based on that. It would have educated a lot of things based on that. It would have said things like, well, the market's kind of oversupplied, so you don't really want to go near that. And here's the breakdown on everything it's offering. You can go deep as you want. And here's the data sources it used. Again, the rehab estimator doesn't really apply much in the commercial space. That's what they were coming out with in the next offering. Comp review. I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to give one more example of a property type, multifamily. It won't know the difference. We'll give it the same address. There's your gross income. There's your expenses. Again, rehab calculator actually starts to matter here again. But you're going to want to give it square footage. Okay, we have to add that in the form. You can also enter a rehab cost manually, and you can analyze the deal. What I really wanted to show here is not about the rehab calculator, which obviously is still being finalized. But what I really wanted to show here is that it ran the math entirely differently. It uses the net operating income, bestseller finance value, but here's really where the magic comes in. None of that's the magic. Okay, none of this is right.